Oh.
Japan loves visual novels. They're a genre of video game where the predominant method of gameplay consists of reading text and making choices. For the longest time I brushed this genre aside as nothing more than glorified books, but then a visual novel comes along that changed my opinion on the genre forever, because on Sushi Bites today, we'll be looking at a visual novel for only the second time ever in 104 episodes. This is Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. First released on PSP exclusively in Japan, then re-released on the PlayStation Vita, where it received its first English language localization. These days it's available on the PlayStation 4 and on PC Steam, where I played it. I grabbed the game at a deep discount sale price because it had been on my radar for a while, and the fates finally aligned. This PC port certainly shows up the age of a game first released 8 years ago on a potato handheld. But that's something we'll discuss after we've summed up the story and the gameplay. In Danganronpa, we play as a high school student named Makoto Naegi. He's been accepted into Hope's Peak Academy, a school for the extremely gifted in society. Basically, every student at Hope's Peak Academy is the ultimate something. Among the students attending the school is the ultimate fashionista, the ultimate pop sensation, the ultimate baseball star. On the other hand, Makoto isn't the ultimate anything. He's not actually gifted, and he's not in possession of a supernatural being known as a stand. He got in solely because of a lucky raffle. He is the ultimate lucky student. But after having played this game through and knowing how everything plays out, he could well have been the ultimate unlucky student. We experience the story vicariously through him. The great thing about the visual novel format is that we experience the story firsthand. So it's not Makoto Naegi that arrives at Hope's Peak, it's us. Well, you get what I mean. We arrive at Hope's Peak, our vision blurs and we pass out. Next thing we know, the school is all boarded up, and there's nobody else in sight. We discover our fellow students at the school's main door, and we are introduced to all of them. I'm not gonna bother listing off a string of names. I'd rather you play the game and meet these wonderful people yourself. No sooner have we gotten acquainted, we're called to the gym to meet with the principal of the school, a robot bear named Monokuma. He informs us that there's no escaping the school. Well, there is a way to leave. One way to leave. And so, the killing games begin. The rules are laid out nice and simple for us. To graduate and be allowed to leave the school, we must kill another student, and, this is the most important part, we need to get away with it. Once a student has been blackened by murdering another, a class trial begins, and the remaining students must successfully identify who the blackened is. Get it right, and they are punished by execution, and the communal school life continues unabated. But if a spotless student is accused, everyone besides the killer is punished by death, and only they, the killer, the blackened, will graduate. The game starts with 15 characters that you will get to know and love, but in the end only a handful survive. In between the students putting an end to each other, you will have opportunities to build social links, and provided you're spending your coins in the Mono machine, you might have some nice gifts for that special person in your life to progress your relationship with them. The downside to this, however, is that you can sink all your time, presence, and love into a character, and then they just get killed anyway. I had this happen to me in the second game, and it made me want to stop playing. You eventually get used to it. When a student has been found dead, an investigation phase begins, and we have to uncover evidence for the upcoming class trial. Evidence is stored in truth bullets, which get loaded into the cylinder of your gun. Oh yeah, we get to shoot things. The game's combat is confined to the class trials, where the game becomes Ace Attorney with a revolver. Here, we shoot literal holes in our foes' arguments, and use this opportunity to rat out the killer and get him shipped out of our happy school life. There are other phases such as Bullet Time Battle, where you have to complete a rudimentary rhythm section, and the Hangman's Gambit, where you must uncover a hidden word that relates to the case. Completing each phase will eventually see the trial reach its logical conclusion. The blackened will be punished, and the story continues. Danganronpa. The version of the game I played was the 2016 PC port, and it's immediately apparent that the game's visuals suffer from being a port of a PS Vita port of a PSP game. Blurry and low-quality assets blown up to your monitor resolution, with some noticeable artifacting and very low-quality textures on background 3D elements. Even the interface, which could be easily replicated at a high quality, still uses pre-rendered and blurry textures. It feels like no attempt was made at sprucing up the game's visuals for PC, like it's a cut-and-shut job to quickly get the game on that platform for a few extra sales. There are also spelling errors, typos, and oversights, which I'm told were also in the Vita version and haven't been fixed, including a big one at the end of the game that's fairly hilarious though easily missed. Given the age of the port, it's highly unlikely these mistakes will be fixed, and this port does kind of feel like a botch job in that regard. Despite the visuals being stretched and uneven in quality, the visual style of the game itself is very satisfying. The character portraits look great. I especially enjoy how rooms pop up like a children's book as you enter, how blood is shown as a bright pink instead of red. These visual decisions ooze cool. This game is style personified, down to its funky and bizarre soundtrack from Masafumi Takada, who scored God Hand and No More Heroes. So now you know why it's so damn catchy. Those who enjoy murder mysteries, slice of life, and high school drama will eat up Danganronpa. I've deliberately attempted to resist giving any and all spoilers that would tear apart this game's mysteries because I really want anybody, even remotely interested, to take a shot at the game themselves. I could easily talk at depth about each trial, the events before the game takes place, each of the plot twists and how I felt about them, but it's not worth spoiling it for anyone who hasn't played the game yet. I might consider something like that if this episode does well, and if you're particularly interested in my thoughts. If you're new to visual novels, Danganronpa is a great introduction, as it was for me. I was angry at myself for giving the genre such a hard time, after being wowed by Danganronpa's incredible story and characters. If you like the Persona series for its social aspects and time management, you will also be pleased to find similar mechanics in Danganronpa. This has been Sushi Bites. Thanks for watching.